and welcome to my video on the Decorator design pattern. In case you don't remember, the Decorator pattern allows you to attach new functionality to your feature dynamically, meaning you can do it while your program is running. And it's made possible through inheritance, which I know is everybody's favorite. So I'm going to walk you through my implementation of the Decorator pattern, in which I created weapon upgrades. Just to refresh you, here is a class diagram of the Decorator pattern. You're going to need a couple of different classes. You're going to need a base class, a user class, a wrapper class, and then other wrapper classes, which are just going to increase the functionality of your feature. So the base class is going to set up your object. For me, this was my base weapon class. Your user class is the actual instance that's going to be used. For mine, it's the player weapon. So here I can define for the player, keep track of the ammo. Every time you create a bullet, subtract from the ammo total. Your wrapper class is where you really define your Decorator pattern. It has a variable, which is an object of the type of your base class. For me, this wrapper has a variable that is a weapon object. So each decorator is going to wrap around a weapon object. These other wrapper classes are upgrades to the weapons, like a damage upgrade. And it's going to be able to modify, say, the damage that a weapon does through recursion. So let me show you a little bit of the code so you can see how that works. So this is the player base weapon. And it defines a fire function that calls other functions like get the weapon damage. And every weapon that the player has is going to call this weapon damage. If we look at our damage upgrade or damage decorator class, it does not override that fire function. And because this inherits from the base weapon class, it does not need to override that fire function. It's anytime fire gets called from an upgraded class, it's going to call that fire function, which is why these functions are so important. Our upgrade classes are going to override these functions, and that's how we increase our functionality. So the damage decorator has defined the damage upgrade for now to be 1. So it's going to increase the damage by 1. And like I said, we override our get weapon damage function. And in this, we're going to implement our recursion. So the weapon that we have wrapped around, we're going to call that get weapon damage. And then we're going to increase it. So we're going to return the increased value of damage. So let me show you how this works in the actual game. So these are our weapon upgrades. If we go pick up, this is our damage upgrade. And we can see the test player is now holding down here the damage decorator. And the damage decorator is wrapped around the base weapon. So when you hit fire, you're firing this damage decorator, which is going to call the get damage of what it's wrapped around, the base weapon, which is going to return the damage. This is going to return the damage plus the upgrade, so you can see the increased damage. And there's other upgrades as well. The fire rate, which will increase the amount you can fire, and then the range at which you can fire. It's hard to see. And you can do this as many times as you want. The thing you have to keep in mind, this is done with recursion. So if you go too many levels deep, you may run into a point where you're using too many resources on your computer. So that's how it works.